Hi, Lou.
Hi, Mike.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Monday.
It is Monday.
Could maybe use some of this brand that we're going to talk about to pep me up since it's Monday, but without revealing too much yet. This is a fun one. We're going back into CPG land. So we're going to chat about a physical product today.
Okay.
Um, and it is a hot sauce called Mangoria. Mangoria is obviously a hot sauce. It was built by a French branding agency called Infused. The really cool part about this is that the brand is actually the branding agencies. So the branding agency did this almost as a side project to create this hot sauce. They wanted to infuse storytelling and design. So the really awesome part about this is they wrote this science fiction mythology around the brand and made everything be about that. As you can see, there's obviously this very cool space agey old school sci-fi feel to it. It feels very like 90s creature
hmm
feature esque. And they have these cool little alien hands that they never really reveal what their aliens look like. I'm going to read you what the origin story of the hot sauce is because it's actually really cool and interesting the way that they crafted this entire brand around this made up narrative of this
Okay.
story. So they said, long ago in another dimension, the Mangorian civilization faced a catastrophe so great it threatened to erase their world forever. Mangoria was a planet defined by flavor. The air carried notes of sweet mango, and rivers ran with hints of spice and ginger. Then, quietly, the flavors began to fade into a dull, gray, nothing taste. As Mangoria neared extinction, the forbidden ritual of infusion was invoked. Through fire, flavor, and cosmic sorcery, their essence fused into a blend of mango, ginger, carrot, lime, and habanero. Sealed in bottles, the essence was cast across dimensions, drifting, waiting to be found and tasted. So they used this story and narrative and use their actual ingredients that are in the product to turn into this science fiction plot. The hot sauce market is so saturated. There's a billion hot sauces when you go to Whole Foods or Safeway or wherever you shop. And they needed to do something somewhat differently to stand out in this market. It's a big category rejection. It's not flames and skulls and chili pepper illustrations. They threw all of that out and said, there's this strategic opportunity here to refuse what the category is doing. And so we're going to go this other route by building the entire brand around this made up fictional narrative. If you look in the bottom left here, that GIF,
hmm
this is just like a really short little walkthrough of the site that they built. They did it in a product called Unicorn Studio, which uses WebGL, which is a new no-code software that is very popular right now. That was one of my main questions of this was, I'm curious if that was something that this agency Infused has used before, or if they just used this side project as an opportunity to be like, hey, we don't really know much about Unicorn Studio. We haven't really dipped our toe into WebGL. Maybe we just use this as a fun way to learn about this new technology or this new product and see what the capabilities are. When you are a creative agency or a branding agency, being able to flex that muscle of always exercising creativity and trying new things and learning new tools, that's a pursuit that never dies if you want to make it and be successful. So I thought that was an interesting way that they brought this brand to life was by using that kind of hot tool.
No, totally. I love
Um,
it. I mean, just from a initial glance when we were first looking at the branding as a whole, immediately thought of Star Wars. The right-hand side, where it's the GIF tilted back towards the
yeah.
top of the screen, makes me think of the typeface at the beginning of the Star Wars films. And that mixed with that very iconic alien green off the bat is just very nostalgic. For a new product, it feels like something that I would have picked up in my own childhood. So that was like the first thing that really struck me. And then second was just the beautiful color wave that's used. The juxtaposition between that really electric green and then that really pretty natural but still fluorescent orange of the peppers is just so visually appealing that I can totally see how any kind of poster or promotional material is just eye-grabbing. As you said, it's not relying on the flame, the chili pepper, the hot sauce iconography that we all have come to know. And it's also playful, which is a difficult balance.
Yeah. I love that orange is so good. It's like
It's
It's
so pretty.
it's the color of the sauce. It's also the flavor profile. They call it mango. And that's part of
Hmm.
that whole origin story. That kind of
Yeah.
juxtaposed, like you were saying, with that neon green is so rad. The way that I actually figured out that this was Infused, this brand, was that when I went to their site, I'm going to show it real quick. Their site had that exact same green.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then this also, like a UI right here, where you can
Hmm.
use their logo, the icon like follows the hover of your cursor.
Yeah.
But this also shows up in the Mangoria branding as well, this icon that they have here. But I was looking at this and I was like, wait, this looks like their brand. It was confusing at first. And then I realized they're the ones that actually made it, which is really cool.
You know, as a fellow creative and as someone who's seen and gone through the process of building a brand as a creative exercise, I'm curious if that exercise, if you will, allows for a certain level of creativity and freedom that you may not otherwise apply to other projects when you really can dive in with both feet and infuse everything and anything you want into that.
Yeah, it's a whole reason why a lot of creatives on their portfolio will have side projects is because there's so many good ideas that die or are left on the table when it comes to doing either freelance work or work for when you are in-house working for a specific brand, because we all have what we think are really great ideas that may or may not be killed by a stakeholder that has a different
Hmm.
vision for a brand. So when you are someone that has ultimate control, I think that's really when a lot of the great and best designs come out, or user experience, whatever it may be that you're creating. Because exactly like you said, you have ultimate control of that. You're the one that gets to call the shots and come up with something that's as ridiculously silly, but also successful as this is. In a way, it reminds me a bit of Liquid Death's strategy of
Mm.
a lifestyle brand that actually just happens to sell water. Their whole positioning is on this story of Mangoria and this planet that existed. And then it's just like, and we sell hot sauce because hot sauce
Yeah.
is the way to bring flavor back to the lost land of Mangoria. I love this little petroglyph thing over here. It's
Yeah.
like these ancient characters that are dancing around the old bottle.
No,
And they
you
just
just know it
go,
was someone's passion project that they just put all of their creativity. If they pulled inspiration from one wacky dream they have, or if this has been a world they've been creating since high school, it has such a whimsical creativity to it that you just can't help but enjoy.
yeah. Yeah. Every creative I've ever met has always had the like, oh, I always had this one idea. I almost had something in my portfolio at one time that I was going to call the shit that should have been. And it was
Hmm.
the stuff that you always thought would have been really successful had it been greenlit. But it was stuff that you've made over your career that's been killed or for whatever reason it may be. But you still put a lot of effort and thought and process into it and actually made the thing. And so I was like, well, why not show something like that? You know? So
Yeah,
for the fact that they built this and then actually turned it into a real tangible product that you can buy, I commend them for going all the way with it.
definitely.
Um,
Well, I love as well. And when we've talked about different brands previously, especially in the product and the food space, we've talked a lot about in situation photography. And I love that they definitely indulged in that and understood and respected that that is a, you know, a visual trend right now, but they absolutely did their own spin on it. And the hand and the in situation is this character, is this alien that you have to look at twice because you're like, what is it that I'm looking at? I
yeah.
love that. I just think it's such a great creative play on trends that we see really frequently, but it is so their own.
Yeah. I think too that mystery, they're not revealing what the alien looks.
Yeah.
It also in some way opens them up in the future to be able to have other creative touch points. If they wanted to expand this brand to something beyond hot sauce, there's so much intrigue and mystery in this whole idea and this fictional narrative that they could do something else with that. I could see some kind of content series about these aliens, you know, like
Yeah.
if they actually wanted to make something or even use AI to enhance and create these little characters, they could have episodic things of how this actual hot sauce got made or how it's
Yeah.
reinstating flavor into the realm of Mangoria. Always leaving a little bit of mystery is a really good thing for brands to do. I had an old creative director, he used to say, never complete the circle, which means
Mm.
like don't let a viewer or a customer or someone who's going to have any kind of interaction with your brand create that final connection in their own mind of what it should be. It just allows people to have more of a relationship or participation with a brand as opposed to just being like, okay, it is what it is. They told me everything that they're about and I know all the colors and everything that they stand for. We always talk about in brand is everything. They're these living, breathing entities. That's what really good brands are. And because of that, they have almost this personified anthropomorphic quality to them where you want to interact with it. You want to be a participant and have a relationship with the brand. That's why so many of the greatest brands out there are really successful in that and people feel like they're part of it. And so, yeah, I feel like they nailed that in what they've done here.
Completely. From my perspective as content lead, how does this branding and how do these visuals, how is it going to exist in the wild? If I'm thinking about it from a social media play, for example, as you just alluded to earlier, the storytelling component of this is so baked into the branding and into the visual identity too. There's so much room for play and for growth in that regard. Like you could make an entire graphic series that explains how this planet and these aliens came to be. You could do an entire series of what happened post this product. Where are these creatures now? Are they on Earth with us? Or there's so many little avenues that you can take that go so beyond a bottle of hot sauce.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. And as someone who comes up with social media strategy for a living, there's so much more room for growth and for engagement and for community, which also is another huge thing we talk about on Brand is Everything, as opposed to, a standalone product that is a very, what you see is what you get kind of thing. That's a really fun play to even just think of myself for my own thought exercise.
Yeah, it's a really good point too, in multiple ways, right? Because they created the story first, and then everything else was downstream of that. So like you're saying, because of the branding and the aesthetic that they've adopted, they already are fitting within specific categories of content. You're creating some kind of strip or your strip cartoon, or you're doing that 70s pulp magazine type of deal, or these really iconic, somewhat cheesy 90s movies, alien creatures, sci-fi. It already kind of naturally and intrinsically fits within these other categories just by what it is now. And so you could see how the extension of that brand and how you could actually take these things to that next step and also probably gain a lot more of a cult following by diving into those specific community areas.
Yeah, especially when you think of space storytelling and the place that has in a larger storytelling cultural zeitgeist. Some of the most powerful and most visually recognizable stories, certainly within Western culture, are rooted in space. They're already really tapping into a very engaged community of people. Like I said earlier, there's something so fresh about this, but also so nostalgic at the same time. And I think that that's a really difficult thing to do. It sets them apart.
We have one more thing to add to our collective chest of merch and objects that we want to collect.
Yeah, I think this one could be easier to get our hands on than some of the others.
Oh, they collaboratively made this with a master hot sauce maker, and they're called Mastari, Mastari. Shout out to the two of them for this collab. It's beautiful. We love it. We want to hear more about this story and what the next play is for Mangoria.
I'm invested in this planet now. I want to know what happens.
Yeah. You should check out the web experience. It's actually really fun. Watching through this whole story. It's really cool.
I love it. Well, this was great, Mike. Thanks for bringing this. This is fun and engaging. And now, I'm a hot sauce girl too, so I will definitely, try to get my hands on it and try it.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Lou.
Thanks.